I just want to let you guys know that there are some spoilers in this review. They're pretty minor, and there's some swearage if any of you care. But anyway, I hope you enjoy. So while I was in PAX West 2018, I got the chance to try out Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
We're playing Tomb Raider now.
While I was in line, I was pretty optimistic it would be good. I mean, I like Tomb Raider, the graphics are good, the gameplay's generally fun, so, I mean, it'd probably be good. But as I got up and started to play through the 15-minute demo, it started to sink in that maybe this game wasn't as different as I had initially hoped it would be from the other two games. Even in the discussion segment of my vlog, I said, quote, "It felt very the same." So now, after playing through it, were my worries correct? Or has Shadow of the Tomb Raider shown that it is a worthy sequel? Let's find out. To start things off, let's talk about presentation. Good lord, does this game look good. I played this game on PC with crank settings at 1080p, and it still somehow managed to keep a steady 60 FPS most of the time, even with my 1070. Taking in the gorgeous god rays, soaking in the wonderfully ripply puddles, and looking uncomfortably close to the mesmerizing throat motion capture is like 50% of the appeal of this game for me. Also, I thought I'd just like to mention that no one freaking told me that there'd be llamas in this game. I'm out. This is it. That humanity has reached its max potential. Is this what RTX looks like? Did Jensen Huang just freaking slip into my house and slam a 2080 Ti just to show me these amazing llama graphics? Anyway, all in all, it was a very above average port compared to what we normally get on PC. There were, of course, some problems like occasional stuttering or how the frame rate would tank about 5 to 10 FPS every time you go into a town, but it wasn't enough to take me out of the experience or the story, so I think it's passable. Speaking of the story, I wasn't really expecting much going into it, seeing as it had the same watch Lara become the Tomb Raider BS as every other game in the series. The story could be literally about anything, and it would still technically count. But coming out the other end, I'm more frustrated than anything else. I'm frustrated that it didn't try to be anything more than it actually was. They set it up in the beginning where she'll do anything, even ignore falling boulders that will likely kill her and everybody else there just to further her investigation. From that opening, you would assume that throughout the rest of the story, she would start to realize that she's putting herself and others, and mainly her buddy Jonah, in danger just because she can't break away from her obsession. Maybe she even realizes at the end that she's becoming like her father and she snaps out of it and decides to help people in need instead of solving the mystery. But basically, none of that happens. Besides that opening, pretty much the whole story is your classic chasing clues Indiana Jones affair where not much character development is to be seen. What's sad about this is Camilla Luddington's performance is actually pretty good most of the time.
Jonah!
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 It's sad to see that wasted on a flatly written character. But does the gameplay outshine the story? Sometimes. I would consider the gameplay to be sectioned off into 3 parts: puzzles, stealth, and combat. There is also climbing, but that kind of goes hand in hand with each of those segments, so I'll talk about that at the end. First off, puzzles. There are a bunch of puzzles scattered throughout the game, a bunch of them through the story, and a lot of them through optional crypts and challenge tombs. The puzzles that are in the main story, I don't really remember being that difficult. I don't remember there being any like head-scratching moments where I couldn't figure out what to do or like I couldn't put it together. But as soon as you walk into a crypt or a challenge tomb, you instantly realize where the puzzle ingenuity went. There were several times where I realized what to do and instantly felt stupid because I'd just been floundering around for 10 minutes. They are incredibly puzzling, but not so much that it's frustrating. Overall, it's probably the most well-done mechanic of the game, but not my favorite. My favorite piece of the gameplay pie is stealth. You feel like a guerrilla warfare master as you utilize your environment to get a kill without being spotted. Things like spreading mud all over yourself to blend in with muddy walls, or crafting a smoke bomb or Molotov from items you find around the map. Using your brand new rope takedown from a tree to pull your enemies up, strangle them, and hide them on your branch. Firing a fear and poisoned lure arrow to get an enemy to fire at his allies and then die from poison is also pretty fun. This kind of stealth I think really shows the difference between Nathan Drake and Lara Croft. In Uncharted with Nathan Drake, it just kind of feels like you're an action hero, so you're not gonna die. It's just kind of dumb fun. You're fully aware that these are goons and they're gonna die easily. But with Lara Croft, it feels like she's a survivalist. Like this is life or death. She's improvising to make her way through this and just barely squeaking by. She feels more vulnerable as a character, which feels better as a player because it forces the player to focus. The AI in these sections are good and bad. Like you could be splashing around in water or like stomping your feet and they wouldn't give 2 craps as long as you're crouching. But if you take out an enemy mid-sentence when they're talking to their allies, they will know and start searching for him. Or if you've taken out a guy and his buddies realize that he's not on his post anymore, they will go out and search the area that he normally goes.
Hey, where's Morgan? Holy shit, I was just talking to him. Everybody, Morgan's missing. Find him, now.
But it also feels like they're kind of stupid in other places because like you could roll right in front of them and as long as their notice bar doesn't go all the way up, you should be okay. I think overall it's a really good experience, the stealth, but it could definitely be better, mainly in the AI department. But what happens when you get caught? Well, you get shoved into combat. And this is something I feel is clunky, claustrophobic, and just not fun. You have access to your bow, rifle, shotgun, and pistol for these intense situations, but somehow they all feel very stiff and not at all satisfying to use. It feels like you have to be at least like 20 feet away to even accurately hit your enemies. You also have the most pathetic melee attack I think I've seen in any game. It probably takes around 6 or 7 hits to kill someone, and the animation for it just kind of feels like you're breaking the game. So with such a terrible melee mechanic, you would think enemies would stay behind cover like a normal cover shooter, right? Well, maybe sometimes, but the majority of the time, enemies run straight for you. This creates gameplay of you just running away, getting a few unsatisfying shots off, and keep running, and then the cycle repeats until they just die. It isn't really fun. Oh, by the way, did I mention all the combat and movement mechanics are exactly the same as they were in 2013? Yes, you heard right. They haven't changed any of the animations or any of the bugginess from 5 years ago. This leads me perfectly into the movement mechanics. Just like I said earlier, it's exactly the same as it was before, and that isn't a good thing. Everything about it feels very old, from the floaty jumping to the crappy ice pick sections. It really just shows nothing but age. It even bugged out in the middle of the final boss, so I couldn't jump from branch to branch. Are you looking at this? How could this have made through QA testing? And this really is my biggest frustration about this game. It doesn't try anything new. It really just takes the success of the first game and slaps a new coat of paint on it. Not to say that the new paint is bad, it's friggin' gorgeous, but it's really only surface level. Once you sink your teeth into it, you get a sense of deja vu like you've played this game before. Shadow of the Tomb Raider does do things well, but not because they took the time to make the Tomb Raider series better, but because they copy and pasted most everything from the previous 2 games, both the good and the bad. It doesn't quite have the courage to innovate the gameplay or tell an interesting story. It's not necessarily a bad game, it's just not a good one. So that's why I'm giving Shadow of the Tomb Raider a 5 out of 10 for mediocre. I really hope Eidos Montreal takes more time to rethink the Tomb Raider gameplay and innovate before they release another sequel. I would love to see Tomb Raider shine again like she did 5 years ago. I'm The Amazing Gap, and thanks for watching.